Main event of the evening. Thursday and half past the hour.
It's Tuesday, and you're listening to Murder Unscripted.
What's up, guys? It's Melissa here with Ed, and we are the hosts of the new podcast, Murder Unscripted. And we are just here to kind of tell you guys a little bit about us, a little bit about the show, so that way when we start, which actually it's available right now, episode number 1. So after you listen to this or watch this, you can move on to that. So we're going to tell you a little bit about us. Well, actually, so when I listen to true crime podcasts, I'm always like, who are these people and the audacity? Like, what do they know about true crime? Why do they feel that they're credible? And why are we even credible? So Ed here is actually a true crime TV producer for several shows that I know you've heard of if you're a true crime lover. And he's been doing it for over 20 years. So not only are you old,
I'm
but
old.
you have a pretty good amount of credibility. So
Well, that's good.
tell us about those 20 plus years in the true crime TV producing industry.
Man, what a ride. So I eventually became a production assistant, and my very first gig was on a shoot. I was holding a light stand in a rainstorm, like outside a window. Like I was a sandbag. Basically, so that was my first
sandbag.
I've been called that many times.
I believe that.
But like that was my first gig, was essentially glorified sandbag, and I realized how much I didn't like it. I hated it.
Yeah.
So I started to show the company that I could write, and it was a totally. I didn't really have any writing experience, but I took some English classes, some literature classes, and just liked to write. And then I just adapted it to the true crime style, which we're going to go into a lot on this podcast. But I don't know, it's a different way of writing. You got to write like it's a mystery. It's a mystery that's unfolding. So you're not telling a story like you normally would. So we'll get into all this and more, but long story short, so I was an assistant producer for 65 episodes of Forensic Files over my career. And then we got laid off. 2011 came and True TV rebranded to become Court TV.
Oh, right.
Back up. Court TV rebranded to become True TV.
Okay.
Other way around. And they went more of a kind of, they did some reality, they did cops, they went away from their staple. So I got laid off and I thought it was the end of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was right after your second child was born?
Literally the day I got back, I had pictures of my ultrasound of my second child. Oh, I came into the office. I was so excited to tell everybody. And it was like, my phone rang at 8 a.m. I was like, oh man, it was the call that everyone dreads. So, and I honestly, I was young and it was my first job out of college. And I thought life was over. I didn't know what to do.
Of course.
Right. So, but then I found some company in Maryland and I was like, how am I going to work for them? And it was like friend of a friend of a friend. And I got in there and got to work remotely. Yeah. So over the next 13 years, I think it was, I worked for a bunch of a bunch of ID shows,
right?
Nightmare Next Door, Southern Fried Homicide, Deadly Affairs, all of those kind of staple shows. And then eventually, after that run ended, I ended up with the show Cold Case Files on A&E.
So good.
Right. And so I did a couple years there and produced some awesome content that I'm so proud of.
I love watching your episodes. I always pause when I see producer Ed Hyde.
You and my mom are the two that
we love it.
That's my favorite part of the show.
It is. I'm I just want to watch that part.
I'll get screen grabs of my name. It's like, how long have we been doing this, Mom?
I actually think I took a picture of it and I was about to send it and I was like, oh my God, I'm so fangirl. So I have it saved.
It's fine. So I think it was last October, the run ended. I mean, A&E and these other networks couldn't decide what they wanted to do next. And it was a problem for everybody in the industry because there was no work.
Right.
They weren't spending money on shows. They weren't hiring anyone for anything. And I went down for 6 months, and it was I thought for sure something was going to break.
Of course.
Right. Because it always
Because
has.
that was the longest you had been laid off, right? Since you started?
Ever.
Yeah.
I think that total, I was like a month off over those 13 years.
Yeah.
So it was consistent work. So when that run ended, it got scary.
Yeah.
And I had 6 months to think about. Every week that passed, I was like, somebody's going to call, and nobody called.
Right.
So and that's the case for a lot of my fellow true crimers. I mean, there's a tight knit group of us that were not working, and I'm not sure. I haven't talked to anyone in a while, but they may still not be working. So, where do we go from here? And I was like, I have my friend Melissa, who I met on a completely different project.
Totally random.
Totally random.
Meeting.
And she was a fangirl, the likes I've never seen before. And that's why, I mean, tell us about your love. Where did it start, first of all? How did you get into this? Because this girl is an encyclopedia. I mean, there is not a show or a podcast that she has not experienced and listened to or heard that she can't recite from memory. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know what? I have always loved true crime. And actually, it's so funny that we met and this is your industry because I'm so fascinated with it. And what got me into true crime was back in like the mid 90s. I was like 9 years old and I watched this episode of Forensic Files and it was on the John List case. And to this day, I could probably sit here and recite you that episode, but there's moments in it that I can picture perfectly and like I still get goosebumps. It was so well done. And from then on, I was just like, this is amazing. I've always been fascinated with like oddities and the morbid and macabre. And it's just, I love true crime. And like it's so crazy that we met because I'm like your biggest fangirl. Like you're like the Justin Timberlake of true crime.
No. I am not. Okay, one,
I'm leaving that in, by the way.
One, I am not that, and two, I'm not that. I've just been lucky enough to work in this field for so long. I'm not doing anything 40 other people aren't doing, but what we are doing that's different is bringing it to you.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to bring it in a new and relatable way and talk true crime and talk murder with you guys, but from a personal standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, from a fan standpoint, so many different avenues. And the way that we thought up to do this, at least to start, it could evolve, but the way we thought to do this is to bring you blocks of stories. So each month we're going to have a theme, right?
Correct.
So the theme is going to be what? Just a topic that's either...
Can I do spoiler and say what our June theme is?
Sure.
All right. So our June theme is going to be no body murder conviction cases. So a case was someone was convicted of a murder where they never found the victim's body. And that creates a problem because... First of all, you don't have an MO. You don't have you don't know how the person died. So you're really trying to create evidence from almost nothing. You don't even know where to start. So we will be covering one of your favorite case, turned into one of your favorite cases that you covered for Cold Case Files, right?
Correct.
And I'll be covering a couple cases that we'll talk about. I will do my cases in episode 1 and episode 4.
Yeah, so the breakdown kind of goes episode 1. So once we pick our theme, it's either going to be relevant to the time of year that we're talking about. It could be just a theme that we think is super interesting and we have stuff that we want to bring you guys along for. Just any kind of relevance that we can find to a specific topic, we're gonna present that to you, and we're gonna do it in a way where the first week of the month you are going to hear the historical significance of this particular theme. For example, no body cases. We're going to get into some of the, like a history lesson, basically.
And also kind of cover briefly some infamous and recent no body cases that people can kind of associate with. And you remember when this happened. Absolutely.
And we chose this theme because it's just been in the news lately. It's one of the most fascinating elements of the true crime game that I've always been fascinated with. These cases where they have nothing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's going to be week 1. And then Melissa's going to deep dive into one of her cases, one of her favorite stories, just about a no body case. And then week 2, I'm going to bring you a personal story. So it's going to be a case that I was either assigned or a case that I produced or assistant produced or was on set for or have personal knowledge of and have some stories that are tied to it. And along the way, I'm going to talk about the challenges that actually come with it. Like
Absolutely.
what you see on TV is a very polished version of what we want you to see. So we're going to reveal some of the secrets, some of the tips and tricks, the TV magic, right?
So you're kind of explaining our favorite shows to us from behind the camera. We only get to see one side of it.
Exactly right. So, and then week 3 of the month, we are going to have a guest of some sort. So it's going to be it could be a detective who worked the case. It could be a family member. It could be a television professional. It could be someone I worked with who
an expert in the field.
An expert, forensic expert. So many options. So that's the unscripted nature of this. Is we're going to every show I've ever worked on and everything I've ever done in television has followed a very strict format.
Yes,
and I didn't want that. I wanted the opposite. So we're going to talk about cold cases. We're going to talk about open cases. We're going to talk about cases that were solved 40 years ago. We're going to take listener suggestions. I mean, it's going to be a very free-flowing thing, but we should probably continue to explain what's going on in these weeks so week 3 is going to be an interview with someone attached to the case. So and week 4 then of the month will be kind of us wrapping up the theme and the block. Per se.
We'll go into a couple more infamous cases of that theme. And honestly, we really want to hear what you guys think about the theme.
Absolutely. And then we are open to suggestions, or if there's a case that's bugging you, one that you're living, one that you're going through, reach out and we will feature it. I mean, we're going to try to educate. We're going to try to entertain. Not that this is an entertaining subject matter, but we're going to show you what it takes to take these tragedies and turn them into what you see on TV and what you hear. And then that's it. And then we're going to tease the next theme, and the next month we're going to roll into something totally different. So that's what you can expect from Murder Unscripted.
And we're going to have some guest hosts dropping by. So that'll be fun.
Yep. And if there's people that may randomly pop on, we'll set them up. But I mean, it could be just the right time to bring somebody on for something. So you'll see that as you go along. And I think I'm hoping to immerse the audience and really connect them to the genre in a way that they've never been connected. So that's our plan with this.
Yeah, absolutely. We want it to be not another true crime podcast.
There's only 600,000 out there. So I think we jumped on the podcast ship right at the right time. I think this is taken off, I think.
Oh, for sure. I think it's going to be big.
Podcast could be something. So, but I want to talk for a second about something that's bothering me, and that's this glittery microphone.
It's fabulous.
It is.
Matches my sparkling personality.
This is the first time I'm seeing this. I asked her to bring a microphone, and this is what showed up. So I just want to apologize.
I just want to say you're welcome
for that mess.
So it's beautiful.
So we want to interact with you guys. So we want feedback. We want suggestions. If there's something we're doing that you love, tell us. If there's something we're doing that you hate,
or that Ed's doing that you hate,
just let us know. And we can be reached at several different spots. We have everything up and running. We
think. Well, you can actually go on our website, send us a message through there, find out a little bit more about us and the show. And that is www.murderunscriptedpod.com. You can also shoot us an email at murderunscriptedpod@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on most of social media. We have Facebook, Insta, and TikTok, and we are just simply at Murder Unscripted.
Why'd we add the pod to Gmail?
I don't know, but we did that. That was like one of the first things we did.
I think we signed up for an email like way too soon.
we go above and beyond and get very excited about things that we're passionate about.
Melissa had merch for this.
Absolutely.
Before this was like, we should do a podcast. The next day there's folders and stickers and
temporary tattoos.
Temporary tattoos. You name it. So I have no doubt that a merch store will be up and running in no time.
It's basically already set up. Seriously. I didn't tell you.
Seriously. So that's what you can expect. So reach out to us, let us know, and we'd love to hear from you. So we kick off every Tuesday.
Yes,
we're going to be airing
every Tuesday.
all the places your podcasts are found.
Oh my goodness. You
Yep.
can check out Apple Pods, Spotify. I don't even know because that's what I usually use.
Yeah.
Pandora. You
Mhm.
can check us out on
Amazon, Google has one, I think.
Amazon, Google.
Yeah.
Yep. Any of the random pod apps. We will be there.
It's
Just look for Murder Unscripted.
It's true. And we've been thinking about a way to end these things and these shows.
Yeah, because it's always awkward. You finish the case and it's so terrible and you don't want to go into something, you know.
I know. I literally am finding myself going,
Okay.
yeah. It's like, so we were tossing around ideas
Yes.
and we were talking about advice that your parents would give you when you were
Mhm.
younger before you went out. For say you're a teenager and
Yes.
you're going out for the night, you're 16, 17. And what do they tell you? And was it your aunt?
Okay, so it was actually my college roommate, Jessica.
Okay.
Heyo, Jess. Her mom, before we used to go out in college, her mom, Jeannie used to tell us, like, all right, girls, have fun, be safe, make sure you cover your drinks, and remember, perverts don't wear signs that say they're perverts.
It was I'm listening to that going, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And then
But it's amazing. And it's such a good little nugget of a reminder. Like, you can't judge a book by its cover.
it would make it so much more helpful if they wore signs.
It really would. Like, if Ted Bundy had a sign
Yeah.
that said pervert,
Right.
like, that would have helped a
Right.
lot.
So we thought I think that's how we're going to be ending the show. We're going to try it. It's really sound advice. And with what we're talking about, it's just like, it makes you stop and think, because there are, what do they say? Like, you pass, I forget how many murderers, like
It's
murders
terrifying,
and you're
whatever
on the
that
street.
statistic is.
It's like
Yeah.
100 somewhere. I forget what the stat is, but you don't know who's out there. And
True.
these things happen in all corners of the world, to all races, colors, creeds, and you're not safe anywhere. So
No, and actually, another kind of spoiler, and we didn't discuss this, but in July, we are going to be covering a case that's really local to us and
Mhm.
really impacted us, and we are in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So that's something to look forward to also. But I think what we mostly want to say is thank you for checking us out. Thank you for giving us a chance.
Mhm.
We promise we will try not to let you down.
I hope, yeah, am so. This was my life for a lot of years,
Mhm.
and I love it, and I love it's because of the people, and I want to share those experiences with you and share those people with you, and not the version that you see on TV, but the real people.
And I just really need someone else to listen to me because my family's tired of hearing my true crime stories.
It's true. So I have a feeling we have some really awesome perspectives to offer you guys. So tune in Tuesday, same day. It drops today, just with this episode. So
Yep. So you
Yep.
can listen to this and then check out episode 1. And we hope you'll check it out. And we want you to remember to be safe and remember, perverts don't wear signs that say they're perverts.
that's true.
Bye.
That was strange.